Hello and welcome back to Checkpoint Jumpstart training. In this module, we're going to look at support. How do you access support resources, as well as documentation, detailed documentation on the technical and logistical and operational aspects of checkpoint deployment. And last but certainly not least, where do you go for more training on Checkpoint? This Jumpstart series does not go into depth, does not go into detail, and also does not cover a lot of the Checkpoint, most of the Checkpoint products and their functionality. So we're going to look at User Center, which is Checkpoint's support site, and the documentation that's available, as well as Checkmates, which is a social site for Checkpoint employees, subject matter experts, partner companies, as well as customers. Then Checkpoint training courses that are available and the certifications that you can earn from attending the training courses and then passing an exam. And we'll demonstrate where you can find this and some of the aspects of this. So User Center is Checkpoint's support site. The URL is fairly straightforward. And there are multiple ways to get to the support site. You can simply go to checkpoint.com and click on support, or supportcenter.checkpoint.com. And one of the most commonly used components of User Center is the Secure Knowledge database, which contains technical articles, descriptions of software releases, solutions for specific problems that customers have reported. So that is typically my first stop if I see an error message or if I don't understand how to do something with some component of the Checkpoint product line. I have a bookmark that takes me directly to Secure Knowledge, and I will paste in the error message or type my description of what it is I'm looking for. And the search results are categorized. Here are Secure Knowledge articles. Here is technical documentation that may cover what you're searching for. Here are software downloads that are related to your search query. Now, some parts of User Center require an account, a User Center account to access. Your User Center account will be tied to your employer's email address, whatever that is. Also in User Center, software downloads, such as a new release of the Checkpoint software, for instance, R80.30, R80.40, or hotfixes, which are patches to address some specific issue. And there are also what are called HFAs, hotfix accumulators, which are a package of hotfixes that have been well tested and are appropriate for you to install, not only to fix an ongoing issue, but to avoid other issues. So one can just sort of routinely install hot fixes according to your maintenance schedule. There's also a licensing portal where you can search for licenses that are associated with your company, with your appliances. And depending on the nature of the licenses, you can assign licenses to other devices. Service requests are requests for help. So it could be because you have some sort of hardware issue. I have a failed power supply or a hard drive has stopped working. I need it replaced. It can also be related to software. This isn't working the way I expected, or I'm getting this weird error message that I don't understand, and a quick secure knowledge search didn't provide anything helpful. Or licensing issues. requests for assistance with user center access itself. All of these can be done via service requests. And if you, for instance, open a service request for some software issue, there are tools, both GUI-based and command line-based, that can gather useful, necessary information, tag that information with your current service request number, upload that information securely to Checkpoint support site where only Checkpoint support engineers, and if you have a partner that's doing your Checkpoint support for you, authorized partners, support engineers can access. And that's a pretty common thing. There's a command line command called cpinfo, one word, cpinfo, that is frequently requested when you open a service request. Well, we're going to need details, and the cpinfo provides one-stop upload of details. You provide cpinfo with your service request number. You can also subscribe to news, to articles that match keywords. So for instance, if you want to keep an eye on URL filtering changes, you can subscribe to anything on User Center that's new that relates to URL filtering. User Center provides comprehensive technical documentation on all facets of the entire Checkpoint product line. So here is an administration guide for your security gateway. So here is an administration guide for your VPN setup. Also available are detailed per version release notes, which are mandatory reading. If you are considering installing, say, a new release of the Checkpoint product, R80.40 has been announced. It's available for download. I think I might like to transition from R80.20 to R80.40. Access the release notes for R80.40, read them. The release notes contain all of the new features, bugs that have been fixed, issues that remain in that release, and workarounds for those issues. Also, compatibility matrices, which will tell you you can upgrade from this version of Checkpoint to this release, or you can only upgrade under these circumstances. Here are some gotchas. Here are some things to look out for during the upgrade process. Detailed upgrade instructions are also available in the documentation. Troubleshooting guides. If you see this issue with, say, a VPN deployment, here's a flowchart to follow to identify the source of the issue, the cause of the issue, and correct it. Plus technical white papers that go into, for instance, how stateful inspection works, how you can tune the performance of your security gateways, how this component of the management server works. Another incredible resource is Checkmates. This is a social site for Checkpoint employees, Checkpoint subject matter experts, Checkpoint partners, and Checkpoint users, where every aspect of the Checkpoint product line is available for questions, for complaints, for how-to requests, and more. Most of the content is freely available, but some content requires that you have a User Center account. So same username and password as the support site, also used on the Checkmate community site. So some things that I want to call out on Checkmate Nuggets, which is a topic on the Checkmate site. These are articles written by internal Checkpoint employees who are subject matter experts. Might be the developer associated with a particular feature. It might be an engineer who has extensive knowledge of this feature, and they will write articles on a specific topic related to Checkpoint. And I want to say that these nuggets are distinguished by the expertise and the insight that they provide on the subject matter. Another great resource that's available from Checkmates, especially for those that are new to Checkpoint, who might be attending this Jumpstart training, is Checkpoint for Beginners, abbreviated CP4B. This is an awesome, detailed, extensive getting started guide or set of guides that include technical descriptions of the topic as well as videos. And also available from Checkpoint for Beginners, some scripts, some utilities that have been written by Checkpoint experts who may be Checkpoint employees, but often are partners, Checkpoint users, those who are widely recognized as being subject matter experts, but don't work for Checkpoint, are contributing to the Checkpoint for Beginners series. Now, last again, but certainly not least, where do you go for more training? Well, you can go to the Checkpoint website, just checkpoint.com, click on support, and then there is a training link there. The direct URL is training-certifications.checkpoint.com. And I want to call out two specific Checkpoint training courses. CCSA, the Checkpoint Certified Security Administrator, and CCSE, Checkpoint Certified Security Expert. These are each 3-day courses that are instructor-led with hands-on labs. So you will attend physically in a classroom, or optionally, you will attend virtually via some web-based meeting. But an instructor will present the course material to you live in real time, and you can ask questions. You can ask for clarifications. Also, labs have been constructed to take you through the steps of, for instance, installing Checkpoint or configuring Checkpoint or setting up a security policy or whatever. So the Checkpoint training courses are not delivered by Checkpoint. We used authorized training centers, ATCs. And there are Checkpoint ATCs around the world. There's one local to you, almost certainly. And at this training-certifications website, you can search for the class that you want, the time period that you want, in the location that you want. And it will display the ATCs who are offering that class during that time period in this location. So CCSA and CCSE are, if you will, the core classes that anyone who is going to be working with Checkpoint should consider attending. And they come with certifications, or there are corresponding certifications, CCSA and CCSE certifications. The certifications are earned by passing a high stakes exam that is administered either at a testing center, or there are other options, but you have to go somewhere, sit for the exam, you will be proctored, you will be monitored, and then upon completion of the exam, you'll be told whether or not you passed. And the CCSE in particular, the Checkpoint Certified Security Expert, is very widely known in the industry. And if you have that certification, Well, that looks really good on your resume. There are other product courses or specialist courses that focus on a specific aspect of the Checkpoint product line, such as the Checkpoint Certified Automation Specialist. This is something that was really expanded in R80, the ability to automate, write scripts or batch files to perform some routine task without you having to type in the command sequence. So for instance, if you need to create 200 objects that are identical except, well, they each differ in the object name -001, -002, and say the IP address of the object, 192.168.12.1.2.3. That would be extremely tedious to create a large number of these objects manually using the Smart Console GUI. The Automation API provides a way to do that via script. And then new classes, the Checkpoint Certified Troubleshooting Technologist and Troubleshooting Expert sort of correspond to CCSA and CCSE. CCSA introduces you to various aspects of the Checkpoint product and give you hands-on experience at configuring and managing that product. The Troubleshooting Technologist course is a 2-day course that expands on the topics from CCSA and give you instructions on how to troubleshoot issues with those topics, those features, those components from CCSA. And the CCTE, the Troubleshooting Expert course, corresponds to CCSE and gives you hands-on troubleshooting experience for the topics, the components, the features that are covered by CCSE. And there are other product training courses for endpoint security, for the multi-domain management feature of Checkpoint, the virtual systems extension of Checkpoint, and others, all available in the training schedule, the training catalog at this training site. So I just want to focus a little bit on the CCSA and CCSE courses again, because they're core courses that everyone who's going to be administrating Checkpoint should attend. So here's just the list of topics from the current version of the CCSA class. And that class is updated with new versions of Checkpoint. R80.40 comes around, or R80.50, or who knows, R90. Then the CCSA and CCSE courses will be updated soon after the release of these products with updated content. But this is what is currently in the class. So an introduction to Checkpoint, then a lot of stuff that we covered without nearly the depth, nearly the detail in this Jumpstart training series. How policy management is performed, is accomplished, layers and how they work, licensing Checkpoint. Then how do you see what's going on with your Checkpoint deployment, looking at log files, log entries, and so on. Virtual private networks, and this is mostly the site-to-site component where you have your headquarters and you have a branch office. Employees at the branch office need internal network access at headquarters. Site-to-site VPN can provide that. Identity-based policy, clustering, and automation. The Security Expert course, another 3-day course. We talk about managing your Checkpoint deployment, more in-depth automation, some redundancy and performance options. We look at Smart Event. We look at mobile and remote access VPNs, where in CCSA, we focused on site-to-site, headquarters to this branch office. in CCSE, we expand that to include an employee with a laptop who is traveling or is working from home. They need internal network access. That can be accomplished via mobile access, which uses web-based VPN technology, or remote access, which uses a dedicated client. And finally, in CCSE, we spend some time on threat prevention. Recall that there are two major categories of policy in Checkpoint. There are access control policies and threat prevention policies. Threat prevention includes the intrusion prevention, the anti-bot, antivirus, and others. And that's covered in CCSE. So these two courses, CCSA and CCSE, should be your next stop. We're going to demonstrate where you can find the resources that I've talked about, such as the support site, user center, Checkmates, and the training courses. So I wanted to demonstrate a couple of things. First is creating a service request, which you can get to by going to Checkpoint's website and just clicking on support and then create a service request. That's how I got here. I'd also like to note that at the top left it says partner map. You can ignore that. It's just the account that I'm signed into. So you have several choices for the type of service request that you wish to place. Depending on what type of service request, you will be prompted for different sorts of information. And I'm not going to proceed with creating a service request because I don't have anything that needs service. Next, we'll look at accessing some of the knowledge base articles, documentation, software downloads, and so on. So I went to support center, and I'm going to search for, say, a particular version of Checkpoint. So here under the Secure Knowledge tab, there's a lot of Secure Knowledge articles that were returned because they mentioned R80.30 and download. This first one, by the way, SK144293, is that's the number one result because it talks about R80.30, what's new, where to get documentation, where to get software, all in one place. But also there's another tab, downloads, which is specifically downloads that are available that reference R80.30. Documentation for R80.30. Next, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on the Checkmates website. So again, the URL for that is community.checkpoint.com. Some content you must be logged in to view, and it's the same credentials, username and password, as Checkpoint support site. So Checkmates, I had mentioned Checkpoint for beginners. This is an incredible resource for those that are new to Checkpoint, as well as those that just need a little bit of free training on some particular aspect, such as threat prevention or application control or what have you. It includes some excellent videos. Also up here are the best of checkmates. This is user selected, community voted recognition of those who participate in the Checkmate site, but also focusing on articles, postings. So just a quick tour of Checkmates. And finally, I wanted to just point out the training and certifications website, which is training-certifications.checkpoint.com. You can also get there under support and services, training and certification from the Checkpoint main page. So scrolling down past Hacking Point, which is online instructor-led training on a specific task. Cyber Range, which is you are attacking some defended site or you defend a site that's being attacked. I want to scroll down to the core training. And I had mentioned the Checkpoint Certified Administrator and Checkpoint Certified Expert courses. There's a third one over here, Checkpoint Certified Master. That's going away. That's being deprecated and is instead being replaced by what we call product training or specialist courses. So CCSA, this should be your next stop, and you can select the class that's right for you. So for instance, you're in North America. There are several courses that are being offered by various authorized training centers. So you can select the course that you want and then pay for that course using either what's called a CLC, which is a cyber learning credit, which is something that your company can purchase from Checkpoint or from a Checkpoint partner and redeem it for training. So depending on the length of the course, that determines the number of cyber learning credits that are required. You can also pay just by a credit card if you want. That's it. Thank you. So in this module, we looked at resources for Checkpoint administrators, such as the Checkpoint support site, User Center, as well as the documentation that's available at User Center, the Checkmates forum, a social site for Checkpoint employees, Checkpoint partners, Checkpoint users, and your next stop, the Checkpoint training courses that are available. Again, CCSA, Checkpoint Certified Security Administrator, CCSE, Checkpoint Certified Security Expert, and the corresponding certifications. And we demonstrated how to find some of this stuff. So that completes this Jumpstart module. Thank you very much for attending.